The courtroom went silent. Not the normal kind of silence. The dangerous kind. The judge looked up at me. And froze. His hand stopped midair. His face lost color. Because in that moment, he realized something no one else in that courtroom knew yet. I wasn't supposed to be there. Courtrooms have a smell. Old wood. Paper. Fear. I stood in the back, hands cuffed, wearing a cheap gray suit that wasn't even mine. My lawyer whispered something I didn't hear. My heart was too loud. The judge adjusted his glasses and finally looked directly at me. That's when everything changed. His eyes narrowed. Then widened. Like he had seen a ghost. To everyone else, I was just another defendant. Another name on a list. Another case before lunch. A man accused of a crime no one believed he didn't commit. But the judge? He wasn't seeing the man in handcuffs. He was seeing someone from a past he thought was buried. Please state your name, the judge said. His voice wasn't steady. I swallowed. And answered. The moment my name left my mouth, the courtroom shifted. The judge's pen slipped from his fingers. It hit the floor. Loud. Too loud. He stared at me like he was trying to solve a puzzle that shouldn't exist. Then he said something no judge should ever say out loud. That's not possible. My lawyer turned toward him. Confused. The prosecutor frowned. The courtroom murmured. And I finally understood. He remembered me. Years ago, long before the courtroom. Before the cuffs. Before the charges. There was another room. Another decision. And another life hanging in the balance. A decision he made. A decision that destroyed everything. The judge cleared his throat. Court will take a 5-minute recess, he said quickly. Too quickly. His gavel came down hard. Everyone stood. But his eyes never left me. Not even for a second. As the guards led me away, he leaned forward and whispered, so quietly no one else could hear. You're not supposed to be alive. And that's when I knew. This trial was never about the crime. The holding room was cold. Gray walls. A metal bench bolted to the floor. A flickering light that hummed like it was struggling to stay alive. I sat there in cuffs, staring at my reflection in the small glass window. I barely recognized myself anymore. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Slow. Careful. Not a guard. The door opened. It was him. The judge. No robe. No authority. Just a man who suddenly looked very old. He closed the door behind him and locked it. That's when I knew. This wasn't about justice. Collision mini twist, power shift. You should be dead, he said. Not angry. Not loud. Terrified. I looked up at him. You made sure of that once, I replied. His jaw tightened. You don't understand, he said. I was protecting the system. I laughed quietly. That system buried me alive. Years ago, I stood in a different courtroom. Same judge. Same cold bench. Same smell of fear. I was younger then. Broke. Alone. Accused of something I didn't do. The evidence was weak. The witnesses unreliable. But I had something dangerous. The truth. I had proof of corruption. Police reports altered. Evidence planted. Names that powerful people didn't want spoken out loud. Including his. The judge. They would have destroyed you, he said back then. So I did what I had to do. What you had to do, I repeated now, years later. You sentenced an innocent man, I said. And made sure he never walked out alive. His hands shook. I signed the order, he whispered. The transport van, the fire, it was supposed to end there. But I survived, I said. His eyes filled with panic. "That's impossible," he said again. I leaned forward. "You forgot something," I said calmly. "People don't disappear that easily. I didn't survive because I was lucky. I survived because someone believed me. A nurse. A stranger. She pulled me from the wreckage and helped me vanish. New name. New face. New life built on silence. Until now. They'll expose everything," the judge said. "My career. My family. The court." I stood up. "You didn't worry about my family," I said. "You didn't worry about my life." Silence. Heavy. Then he said something I didn't expect. "You didn't come back for revenge," he said slowly. "You came back because you were arrested on purpose." I smiled. Finally. He was catching up. "Yes," I said. "I wanted this trial. Someone survives long enough to challenge it. And sometimes." His face went pale. "Because this time," I continued. "The truth is walking into court with me. And tomorrow. Everyone will know who I really am." The next morning, the courtroom was packed. Every bench full. Reporters lining the walls. Cameras banned, but notebooks ready. They could feel it. Something was coming. I walked in wearing the same cuffs, the same gray suit. But this time, I wasn't afraid. The judge entered. Robe on. Face calm. Too calm. He avoided my eyes. "Court is now in session," he said. His voice echoed. But it wasn't steady anymore. The prosecutor stood. "Your Honor, before we proceed, we have a new witness request." The judge looked up sharply. "Denied," he said too quickly. Murmurs spread. My lawyer stood immediately. "With respect, Your Honor," she said. "This witness was subpoenaed last night." The judge froze. Again. The courtroom doors opened. An elderly woman stepped inside. Gray hair. Hospital badge clipped to her coat. My heart tightened. The nurse. The one who pulled me from the wreckage years ago. The one the judge believed was dead. The color drained from his face. "No," he whispered. Too quiet for the room. Too loud for his conscience. The nurse took the stand. Her voice shook, but she spoke clearly. "I was on duty the night of the prison transport fire," she said. "I found a man barely breathing. No records. No name." She looked at me. "That man is sitting right there." Gasps filled the room. My lawyer stood and held up a folder. "Inside are medical logs, time stamps, and photos," she said. "All suppressed." She paused. "An assigned order authorizing the transfer, signed by the judge himself." Every eye turned to the bench. "This is outrageous," the judge snapped. "I demand a recess." "No," the prosecutor said suddenly. The room went still. The prosecutor turned. "We're going to hear this." For the first time, the system didn't protect him. It turned on him. I stood. "Years ago," I said. "I was silenced because I knew the truth. My voice didn't shake. But today," I continued. "I'm standing here because someone chose to save a life, instead of a reputation." I looked at the nurse. Then back at the judge. "You chose the opposite." The judge leaned forward. "This trial is compromised," he said loudly. I recused myself immediately. Too late. Way too late. As officers approached the bench, the judge whispered one last thing. "You think this ends with me?" I met his eyes. "No," I said calmly. "This is where it begins." The courtroom didn't breathe. No whispers. No movement. Just the sound of boots as two officers stepped closer to the bench. The judge stood up slowly. Not with authority. With defeat. This is a misunderstanding, he said, forcing his voice steady. I've served this court for 30 years. The prosecutor didn't look impressed. So did the system you corrupted, she replied. She turned to the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed why some truths are buried, and why some people are never meant to be judges. The nurse's testimony was replayed. The medical records projected. The signed order enlarged on the screen. His signature. Clear. Undeniable. The judge's hands trembled. I was trying to protect the court, he said one last time. I spoke. You were protecting yourself. The courtroom doors opened again. Internal affairs. Federal investigators. The same people who once ignored my voice. Now writing everything down. The judge was escorted away. No robe. No power. Just another man facing the truth. The charges against me were dismissed. Not quietly. Publicly. My name was cleared. But freedom didn't feel like celebration. It felt like release. Like setting down a weight I'd carried for years. Outside the courthouse, cameras flashed. Someone shouted, "How does it feel to finally get justice?" I paused. Then answered honestly. Justice didn't bring back the years I lost, I said. But it made sure they weren't lost for nothing. Here's the truth they don't tell you. Sometimes the system doesn't break because it's weak. It breaks because the people who fear the truth the most are the ones sitting in judgment. The judge froze when he saw me. Because he knew. The truth had finally walked back into his courtroom.